If Taiwan were to have Muslim immigration, specifically of men in the Middle East, let's say in large numbers in the millions, if one were a homosexual, do you think that there'd be a reason for them to be concerned about that?
I think a lot of people would probably have concerns about that because of, the laws that are in those countries of those immigrants. So yeah, there would be concern amongst homosexual males.
Would there be more concern if millions of young Muslim men came here, or if millions of people from the Netherlands came here?
In general, I would think there would be more concern from people from the Middle East because of certain religious tendencies, I guess.
Okay, so if that's the case, do you think gay rights should be protected in Taiwan?
I think it should. I think rights of any minority should be protected.
So if that's the case, wouldn't it stand to reason that immigration from Muslim societies should be limited to protect homosexuals here?
I think that would be more of a generalization because if those Muslims that come here are tolerant of any kind of difference, including sexual orientation or sexual expression, then
How would you know that they were? Okay, son, where are we today?
Liberty Square, Taipei, Taiwan.
Excellent, excellent. And you, sir, are famous, but that's okay. You speak fluent Mandarin.
I do, and yeah, thanks for coming on our show.
Yeah, my pleasure. So prove to the audience that you can say something in Mandarin.
你好，我爱台湾.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You sound legitimate to me. Okay, so Taiwan should increase the number of legal immigrants. Move. Okay, tell him why you agree.
I think Taiwan needs, well, I'm just thinking about the workforce. Taiwan needs more people to support the labor, to support workforce. And so we can do with so many more people. Plus, Taiwan is already, exalted as this like culturally diverse country. So we're supposed to welcome everyone.
So how come you're not on the strongly agree?
I think there's always a pro and a con to bring a lot of people in. When you bring people in, you're gonna increase competition. So it's gonna somehow interfere with the people who are native to Taiwan or who are Taiwanese who are trying to find work. I'm thinking about the labor force.
So that's why you're not on strongly agree.
Yeah, I'm a little more reserved.
Did the reason that he give you persuade you? Did you find anything compelling in that to move to the agree?
I think what he said made a lot of sense, but I think that instead of having a more protectionist view, I think you should come up with comprehensive policies that could bring more people in, because I think the more the better. And this is coming from a national security perspective because China claims that Taiwan is a part of China, and they always use this ethno-nationalist argument. And if we can bring immigrants from other places that are not China, I think that would make Taiwan a safer
That's a
place.
super interesting argument. Was that argument clear?
Yes.
So, for example, how many people live in Taiwan? Roughly, approximately.
20, 23, 24.
So, just as a hypothetical, if you imported 30 million people from Brazil, just as a hypothetical, China's claim would be decreased that they have some kind of territorial dominion over Taiwan.
I would think so. If they're actually qualified and if they come here and they contribute to the society, I don't see a reason why not.
Okay, go back to the neutral, please. In general, immigrants from some countries are better than immigrants from other countries. Move. Why do you tell him why you slightly disagree?
I slightly disagree because I feel every country has good and bad immigrants, but the reason why I'm not completely disagreeing is because as I mentioned earlier, national security issues. If people come in from, say, China or from Hong Kong, where the Chinese Communist Party has an iron fist now on Hong Kong with the new security law, then that could affect whoever comes in, but it doesn't mean that their quality is different.
Okay.
I'm solely looking at this from the perspective that I think Taiwanese people value certain people more than others. I'm not saying, by law or by anything, just, day-to-day interactions. I think there are people who are treated much better than others. For example, I think from my experiences with my cohorts, my friends, people who I know, my colleagues, if you're white European, you're treated a lot better here. You feel more welcome than if you were an immigrant. Even if you're legal, you're not here working. Even if
You mean an immigrant from where, like
from
Asia?
Southeast Asia, from the Philippines, from Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay, go back to the neutral line, please. Okay, just tell me before I make the claim, what are the top 2 criteria for immigration to Taiwan? What should they be? When you're looking at immigrants coming to Taiwan, what should the top 2 criteria be?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the first would be skills, which includes potential to grow, and I think second would be wealth.
Skills and if they have money.
Correct.
Okay. And what are yours?
I would say skills as well. I don't know if I have a second one. I'm not so sure about the money part though.
Now I'm going to ask a tricky question now. The effect on the Treasury would be no different if 10 million people from Haiti immigrated here than if 10 million people from Finland immigrated here. Move. Why do you disagree?
I think the way that Haitians and Finnish people will be treated here will be different. And the way they are qualified to come here, the opportunities that they get to have here are different. So
you think that causally what's responsible for that is the way they're treated and not anything about who they are?
right, even if they have, I'm not so sure about how they are going to get admitted, but I think it really depends less on who they are, but what they can bring. And I think we have a different view of what these people can bring here, how they are qualified, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you move?
I moved because I think, from what this gentleman mentioned in terms of background and skills, I think it would be actually the same if we use a broad-based standards, say if they're from Finland or they're from Haiti, but say they have the same skills, but they're of a different race, they're of a different culture, I don't think it would make that much of a difference. So I believe the reason why I chose slightly agree is because if you don't have any basis to screen these people or if you don't use the same criteria to bring them in, then of course there would be a difference. But if you use the same criteria, but they come from different countries and come from different cultures, I wouldn't believe there would be that much of a difference.
I would rather have a high-skilled Islamist than a low-skilled American immigrate to Taiwan. I'd rather have a high-skilled Islamist than a low-skilled American move to Taiwan. Move. Okay, pick up the board, please. Pick up the board. Write down the best reason you have for believing that, and don't let him see. Don't let him see. Write down the best reason you have for believing that. Okay. We're gonna play a game of guessing. What do you think his best reason that he has written on the board is?
I think it's probably to do with national security and building that relationship with the United States.
Does your reason have to do with national security and building a relationship to the United States?
Yes, it does.
Really? Wow, I'm impressed. So he got it right.
He did.
Wow, wow, that almost never happens. I'm like, that is amazing to me. That literally never happens. Okay, show him your, that's really astonishing. Okay, show it to him. Holy shit, that's incredible. Okay, so read that.
National security. Without a state, Taiwan would lose its freedoms.
Wow, okay, I have to get my composure. That just like never happens. Okay, so why don't you guess his best reason for what he has on the board?
Because of Taiwan's dire need for talent, that would save the economy. The economy.
Yes or no? All I need is a yes or a no.
No.
Okay, you're gonna guess again.
Diversity.
No, one at a time. Diversity?
No.
Human rights?
No.
I'm gonna give you one more guess since he guessed so quick.
Religious freedom.
Religious freedom.
Oh.
Is the religious freedom a better reason than what you have on the board? Is it a better reason?
It is. I think it is. I think it is.
Excellent. Okay, show him what you have.
I wrote skills over race or nationality.
Okay.
So your first guess was closer, but not quite, because I think it's more about, you can have an American who is like a horrible person and who does nothing, right? Like he can come here and he can do nothing for the economy. He can do nothing for our security. He can, I don't know, he can be a spy. But if he's skilled, at least he's bringing something to the workforce. So that's where.
What made you change your mind about the reason he gave being better than the one you wrote on the board about religious freedom?
I think that part I think that's another whole aspect of Taiwanese society from my perspective. That's not, we talk a lot about diversity, but I don't think that like religious diversity is as astounding as human rights or LGBTQ rights or gender rights, right? Like I think that part is very I think it's part of the culture where we don't talk about politics and religion, in daily conversations, but that's what's killing this, making us really segregated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you understand do you understand that reason?
I do.
Okay, explain it to me then.
It means that you look at what skills that person really brings over a broad blanket of, what they look like or what race they belong to.
Okay. Some religions are incompatible with Taiwanese culture. Move. Tell him why you slightly disagree.
I think Taiwanese culture is very inclusive by nature. We have a strong influence from Taoist culture and traditional Chinese religion, but I think because Taiwan is it's relatively new, there's not much of that big of a stigma or hindrance in accepting new religions. With that said, though,
Yeah.
I didn't go on these two because
Yeah, why?
Yeah, because I feel like I said before, I think there's not a lot of conversation about religious freedom and diversity in religion, such that if someone of, if an Islam were to try to integrate into Taiwanese culture, I think they would find it difficult. I think they would find it difficult to execute or exercise their whatever religious rituals and customs that they do in their original country.
Do you agree?
I actually disagree because I feel that you mentioned Islam, and there's a huge Islam population that came in the late 1940s, and there's a Muslim association in almost every major city or town in Taiwan, and a lot of the recent migrant workers are also Muslim. And point being is, even in Islam, people say it might not be compatible, say, with certain aspects of Western culture or, of LGBTQ, or, where countries they look at homosexuality as something that is worse than, animals or whatever. Yeah, I'm not saying animals are bad. I have cats. But with that, different sects within Islam, there are some that are inclusive of gay couples. And I feel that, every religion has an either conservative or progressive side to it. So Taiwan being one of the most religious free places in the world, Taiwan's ranked almost always top.
Do you think the progressive wing of Islam is particularly popular or ascendant?
I think among intellectuals, you see quite a number of progressive Islams, even in countries outside of Taiwan, in the US or Europe, there you see some mosques supporting pride parades. And so I feel that as long as there's no threat to national security, Taiwan usually allows any religion to flourish. And as you see, I don't have the exact number. I think it was more than 2,000 religions in Taiwan that are still active.
Okay.
Where I think in the US, even some of them consider them cults, but they're still thriving here in Taiwan.
Okay. Go back to the neutral line. Are there more tolerant Daoists from Japan, or are there more tolerant Muslims in Pakistan?
I guess if you look at the number, there would be more tolerant Taoists in Japan. But I'm just saying, let's not have a broad blanket over that entire religion. Yeah. But I agree that there might be a tendency for a certain religion to be more tolerant or a religion to be more seclusive in that sense.
Do you think that and I know you're not a religion expert, but if one were to go around the world and survey attitudes, for example, about homosexuality, do you think that Buddhists, Jains, do you think their attitudes would be different from Muslims about homosexuality in general?
I think in general, yes, because Buddhism teaches more around karma. If you do something good, then you get something good in return. If you do something bad, and I remember reading about that in terms of homosexuality. This might be a bit funny, but old people believe that because someone cheated on their spouse in their past life, now they're a homosexual. So because of that, there's a reason to that. So there's no reason to lay blame. Whereas maybe in some other religions, there might be more as of like, this is entirely on you and you're doing this because you're doing something bad. So you should be punished for what you're doing now, what you're currently doing.
So I'm curious, if Taiwan were to have Muslim immigration, specifically of men in the Middle East, do you think that, let's say in large numbers in the millions, if one were a homosexual, do you think that there'd be a reason for them to be concerned about that?
Concerned about?
A large numbers of Muslim immigrants coming to Taiwan.
For the Taiwanese to consider it?
No, for a homosexual Taiwanese man living in Taiwan, do you think that would be a reason of concern?
I think a lot of people would probably have concerns about that because of, the laws that are in those countries of those immigrants. So yeah, there would be concern amongst homosexual males.
Would there be more concern if millions of young Muslim men came here, or if millions of people from the Netherlands came here?
In general, I would think there would be more concern from people from the Middle East because of certain religious tendencies, I guess.
Okay, so if that's the case, do you think gay rights should be protected in Taiwan?
I think it should. I think rights of any minority should be protected.
Okay. So if that's the case, wouldn't it stand to reason that immigration from Muslim societies should be limited to protect homosexuals here?
I think that would be more of a generalization because if those Muslims that come here are tolerant of any kind of difference, including sexual orientation or sexual expression, then
how would you know that they were?
I think it's hard to know, but if it's good to have like a citizenship test, or when they have a visa application come in, have those embassy or Taiwanese representative office officials explain to them what Taiwan is about. And they probably would already have done research if they were to come.
So I guess my question is, if you have to put a question on the visa, do you think it's morally acceptable to throw homosexuals off of buildings? Don't you think you're targeting the wrong people to bring in?
No, I don't, because it's not good to, I feel that it's not right to put a broad blanket on a group of immigrants. You should give them equal opportunities, but say if they come in and then you see there's a problem, then there should be consequences to that. either deportation or they can't if they're not
What if-
tolerant, then it
what
would
if-
make life for them hard.
What if they just have an attitude of intolerance, like an attitude that they think gays should be treated as second-class citizens? Do we deport them?
I believe not, unless they put it into action, because everyone has opinions. If you ask the older generation in Taiwan, they probably think, homosexuality is something that's weird, that's something that's abnormal or sick, but they don't hit someone, say, we're here in Liberty Square. They wouldn't hit someone on the road just because two gay men or two gay women are holding hands.
All right, cool.